On the front lines of Ukraine, a new weapon is rewriting the rules of modern warfare. In mid-2024, Ukrainian forces unleashed a technological force that has stunned the world: FPV drones. These drones, once considered a novelty, have turned into a nightmare for Russian troops, particularly against their fast-moving motorcycle infantry. Known for their speed and maneuverability, Russia's motorcycle units have long been a symbol of agility and surprise. But what seemed like an advantage has now become a deadly liability. With chilling precision, Ukraine's FPV drones have hunted these units with ruthless efficiency, leaving nothing but destruction in their wake. The stakes have never been higher, and the battlefield is changing forever. In the rapidly shifting landscape of modern warfare, information and timing are everything. For Ukraine, the use of drones has become a game changer, allowing them to turn the tables on Russia's once dominant motorcycle units. Ukraine's UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, are critical to this success, as they provide vital intelligence which helps to spot Russian movements early on and set up devastating ambushes. At the heart of Ukraine's counter-strategy is their ability to detect the enemy's position before the Russian forces even realize they are being watched. UAVs are equipped with advanced cameras and sensors that can identify enemy units miles away. These drones fly above the battlefield, offering a bird's-eye view of the terrain. As Russian motorcycle units dart through fields and broken terrain, Ukrainian drone operators are already tracking their every move. It's almost like a cat-and-mouse game, but in this case, the mice are unaware of the cat that is about to strike. One of the key advantages of Ukraine's reconnaissance drones is the ability to provide real-time intelligence to ground units. When Russian motorcycles are spotted moving through open fields or attempting to flank Ukrainian defensive positions, the drone operators pass this information to commanders on the ground. This gives Ukrainian forces the ability to set traps and prepare for ambushes with precise timing. The speed of the drones and their ability to operate quietly at high altitudes make them difficult to detect, allowing the Ukrainians to stay one step ahead. What makes this so effective is the speed with which these drone operators act. Once the motorcycles are spotted, the operators don't waste any time. They immediately alert other drone units and prepare a strike. Within minutes, Ukraine can launch their FPV drones, which are much faster and more accurate than traditional drones. These FPV drones are designed to chase down and engage targets with pinpoint precision. Unlike larger drones that might only provide a broad overview of the battlefield, FPV drones get up close and personal, almost as if the operator is right there on the ground, guiding the attack. The terrain is another factor that plays into Ukraine's favor. With their ability to fly low and weave between obstacles, FPV drones can navigate over broken ground, narrow trenches, and even dense forest. This means that once the motorcycles are spotted, Ukrainian drones can close in quickly, making it nearly impossible for Russian soldiers to find safety. Ukrainian commanders know this well, and they exploit it to the fullest, making the most of their drones' ability to launch from different angles and surprise their targets. What's also worth noting is how well-coordinated the drone operations are. Ukrainian forces don't just send drones into the sky without a plan. Instead, they have a system in place where each drone has a designated role, often working in teams to ensure no escape for the enemy. For example, one drone may serve as a diversion, drawing the attention of Russian soldiers, while others close in from different angles, attacking with precision. This approach maximizes the effectiveness of each drone strike and leaves no room for error. This intelligence-driven approach has forced Russian forces to change their tactics. Previously, they had relied heavily on the speed and surprise of their motorcycle units. Now, with drones tracking their every move, these same units have become sitting ducks, unable to move without being watched. For Ukrainian forces, the ability to set up ambushes and attack with such precision has become one of their most potent weapons. Ukrainian drones are also highly adaptable. They can quickly adjust to changing conditions on the battlefield, making it difficult for the Russian forces to mount a successful defense. If the motorcycles attempt to regroup or form a defensive line, the drones can change course, targeting new vulnerabilities. The agility and adaptability of the drones make them a threat that Russian forces cannot easily overcome. In this new phase of the conflict, speed no longer guarantees success. The use of UAVs for reconnaissance and setting up ambushes has turned the Russian tactic of fast, mobile motorcycle units into a double-edged sword. What once worked in their favor now works against them, and the Ukrainian forces are making the most of it. The combination of early detection, precise targeting, and relentless pursuit by FPV drones has proven to be an incredibly effective counter to Russia's speed-based tactics. This shift in strategy highlights the growing importance of intelligence and technology in modern warfare, where speed, once considered the ultimate advantage, can now become a fatal flaw when faced with the relentless pursuit of UAVs. The battle lines have shifted, and it's clear that whoever controls the skies holds the upper hand. In modern warfare, timing and precision are everything, and this is where Ukraine's FPV drones excel. Once the reconnaissance drones detect the Russian motorcycle units, it doesn't take long for Ukrainian forces to set their plan in motion. The first strike is critical, as it sets the tone for the rest of the battle. Ukraine's ability to launch these initial attacks with deadly accuracy has proven to be a game-changer on the battlefield. When the FPV drones are deployed, their operators aren't just launching missiles at random targets, they are using real-time intelligence from reconnaissance UAVs to track Russian soldiers. As soon as the Russian motorcycles are identified and their positions confirmed, the drones move in. The first strike is often so sudden and so accurate that it causes immediate chaos within the enemy ranks. Imagine the shock of a Russian soldier who is riding at full speed, only to see a drone swoop down and explode right in front of him. The blast rips through the lead motorcycle, throwing riders into the air and scattering them in all directions. The once powerful advantage of speed and maneuverability is instantly neutralized. This initial strike does more than just destroy vehicles. It disrupts the entire Russian formation. Speed, which was once Russia's greatest asset, becomes a liability. The Russian forces had planned to rely on their motorcycles to outmaneuver the Ukrainians and quickly strike behind their lines. However, they now find themselves exposed to a threat that can follow them, no matter how fast they move. The chaos following the first attack causes confusion and panic among the troops. Riders who were once confident in their ability to escape or outmaneuver their enemy now realize they are trapped. As the drones circle above, they continue to follow their targets with ruthless precision. Each new strike makes the situation worse for the Russian soldiers. Those who attempt to accelerate and flee are quickly pursued by more drones. They have nowhere to hide. The drones are constantly watching, always tracking, and never letting up. This relentless pursuit is a stark contrast to traditional warfare, where soldiers could hide behind cover or retreat to regroup. The FPV drones don't give their targets that luxury. They chase the Russian soldiers as if they were prey, never slowing down until the target is eliminated. What makes these drones so effective is not just their speed, but their precision. Unlike larger drones that might miss their targets or require a longer time to adjust their course, FPV drones can dart through the air at incredible speeds, weaving between obstacles like trees, trenches, and buildings. They can make sharp turns and quickly adjust to the changing movements of the enemy below. This allows them to strike from unexpected angles, catching the Russian soldiers off guard. For the Russians, the situation is becoming increasingly dire. The first strike has shattered their confidence, and the continued attacks from the drones only make things worse. The soldiers who abandon their motorcycles and attempt to flee into the trees or ditches are still not safe. The drones are designed to follow them, tracking their movements until they can deliver the fatal blow. This kind of attack is relentless and unyielding, there's no escape from it. This first strike marks the turning point in the battle, as the Russian forces lose their ability to regroup and reform. The motorcycles, once symbols of speed and maneuverability, have now become targets that are easy to hit. The rest of the Russian units are forced into a retreat, with many abandoning their positions completely. It's clear that the combination of reconnaissance drones and FPV drones has completely transformed the battlefield. Speed, once a key advantage, is now a vulnerability, and the Ukrainian forces have shown how quickly they can exploit it. As the battle unfolds, it becomes evident that the Russian forces are no longer in control of the situation. The overwhelming effectiveness of the first strike, followed by the constant pursuit by FPV drones, has shattered their morale and left them unable to fight back. The once feared Russian motorcycle units are now just sitting ducks, unable to escape the unrelenting drone strikes. Ukraine's precise, coordinated attacks have completely turned the tide of the battle, leaving the Russian forces scrambling to regroup with little hope of success. The success of this first strike sends a powerful message. In this new era of warfare, speed is no longer the key to success. It's precision, technology, and the ability to track and eliminate threats before they can even react. Ukraine's FPV drones have proven that, in modern warfare, the hunter can become the hunted, and the balance of power can shift in an instant. Once the initial chaos from the first strike has settled, the true effectiveness of Ukraine's FPV drones begins to shine through. With the Russian motorcycle units thrown into disarray, the drones don't stop their pursuit. In fact, they become even more relentless. The moment the motorcycles scatter, fleeing in all directions, the drones continue their mission, tracking and eliminating each soldier who thought they had escaped. As the Russian troops break formation and desperately try to find cover, the drones are already closing in. There's nowhere to hide. The high-pitched whine of the drones grows louder, echoing through the open fields, forests, and trenches. The sound is enough to induce terror, and the soldiers know they can't outrun these machines. Unlike traditional threats like artillery or airstrikes, which are random and come from a distance, FPV drones follow their targets relentlessly, almost like a predator chasing its prey. The soldiers' best efforts to evade their pursuers are futile. Ukrainian drone operators don't just aim at random soldiers, they are highly trained to focus on individuals, targeting those who try to flee or regroup. Each drone is guided with deadly precision, locking onto targets and staying with them as they move. The soldiers might sprint toward cover, dive into ditches, or attempt to hide in trees, but the drones continue to track their every move. As soon as one soldier thinks he's safe, another drone swoops down, and within moments, he is consumed by an explosion. These drones are not just fighting against Russian motorcycles, they are systematically hunting down the soldiers one by one. The key to this relentless pursuit is the drone's speed and flexibility. Unlike traditional airstrikes, which rely on larger aircraft and take time to position, FPV drones are fast, small, and highly maneuverable. They can fly low to the ground, navigating through trees and obstacles, making them nearly impossible to hit with gunfire or to avoid. As Russian soldiers scatter, trying to escape the destruction, the drones follow them closely, maintaining their lock on targets with accuracy that leaves little room for error. Even when the soldiers attempt to regroup or form defensive positions, the drones adjust, changing angles and dropping in for another strike. In one instance, a Russian soldier, seeing no other option, tries to outmaneuver the drones by weaving through a field on his motorcycle. He accelerates, hoping that the drones won't be able to track his movements. But the drones are already there, adjusting in real time to his movements, and before he can make a sharp turn, a drone slams into his bike, sending it into a fiery explosion. The remaining riders, witnessing this destruction, are gripped by panic. The drones aren't just destroying their bikes, they are destroying their will to fight. The psychological toll on the Russian soldiers is massive. In the chaos, they are not just fighting a visible enemy, they are fighting an invisible, unrelenting force. The drones don't stop, they don't tire, they don't miss, and they are not satisfied with just one hit. The battlefield becomes a graveyard of smoldering motorcycles and shattered bodies as the drones continue their hunt, ensuring that no Russian soldier escapes. Every time a drone strikes, it adds to the terror. The Russian soldiers, who once trusted in their speed and ability to escape, now face the reality that their advantage has been turned against them. The motorcycles that were once symbols of agility are now nothing more than targets. The drones don't allow them to escape. As the battle rages on, the Russian forces are slowly decimated by these unmanned machines, whose ability to track and eliminate is unmatched by any traditional military tactic. This constant pursuit by FPV drones creates a new kind of warfare. It's not just about battlefield tactics or military strength, it's about technology that can follow, hunt, and eliminate in a way that has never been seen before. The Russian soldiers who once relied on speed to outmaneuver their enemies are now forced to confront the reality that in modern warfare, speed no longer guarantees survival. Ukraine's FPV drones have proven their worth in these relentless strikes, showing that in the new age of warfare, even the fastest units can become sitting ducks. The soldiers are left with nothing but fear and a growing sense of helplessness as the drones hunt them down one by one until there's no one left to chase. As the FPV drones continue their relentless pursuit, the Russian forces quickly realize that they are facing an enemy unlike anything they've encountered before. Traditional defenses, such as machine gun positions or makeshift strongholds, offer little protection against this new, precision-guided threat. In their desperation, Russian troops attempt to regroup, setting up defensive lines and creating temporary strongholds to shield themselves from the deadly drones overhead. However, their efforts are futile. Unlike artillery or airstrikes that can only target large areas or require more time to aim and execute, FPV drones operate in real time, with pinpoint accuracy. Their operators are able to lock onto specific targets, whether it's a soldier, a machine gun position, or a small group of troops, and deliver strikes with overwhelming precision. The drones are not hampered by terrain, weather, or the limitations of traditional warfare tactics. They swoop down low, navigating through obstacles such as trees, rocks, and buildings to reach their targets. This level of maneuverability makes them incredibly difficult to defend against, especially for infantry units with limited air defense options. In the midst of this, Russian soldiers attempt to set up defensive positions, hoping to shield themselves from the drone strikes. Machine guns are mounted, and temporary barricades are hastily constructed. But this is no longer enough to hold back the drones. The first strike often comes without warning, followed by a barrage of more attacks. The soldiers manning these defenses are not given the time to respond. The drones swoop in from unexpected angles, bypassing any protective structures and eliminating their targets within seconds. Even when the Russian forces manage to form a defensive line, it quickly crumbles under the relentless assault of the drones. Machine gun positions, once thought to be the final line of defense, are obliterated before they can even return fire. In one instance, a machine gun crew is caught off guard, and within moments, their position is reduced to a pile of burning debris. The soldiers, who had hoped to stand their ground, are now left in shock, unable to comprehend how quickly their defenses were neutralized. The power of these drones lies in their ability to act swiftly and decisively. With the first strike, the Russians are already on the back foot, forced to abandon their positions and retreat further into the landscape. But the drones don't stop. They track the fleeing soldiers who try to hide in ditches, forests, or any available cover. No matter where the Russian soldiers go, the drones continue to pursue them, following their every move until they are eliminated. The soldiers, once confident in their ability to escape, now realize that they have no place to hide. The drones can target them wherever they go. This relentless pursuit creates a level of psychological pressure that is unlike anything the Russian soldiers have faced before. Unlike traditional military threats, where artillery shells or airstrikes come from a distance and strike in broad areas, FPV drones are personal. The soldiers know that the drones are actively hunting them, one by one. The psychological toll is immense. Every sound, every movement, becomes a reminder that they are being tracked and hunted. The fear of being followed by these machines instills a sense of terror that rapidly spreads among the troops. Soldiers who once relied on their speed and mobility to escape danger now find themselves trapped in a nightmare where there is no escape. In many cases, Russian soldiers have admitted that the sound of the drones was enough to paralyze them with fear. One captured soldier confessed that hearing the high-pitched whine of the drone above sent waves of panic through his unit. Unlike the distant rumble of artillery or the noise of fighter jets above, the drone's sound is constant and personal. There's no mistaking it when the drone is overhead. It's already too late. The soldiers know that once the drone has locked onto them, their chances of survival are slim. This shift in warfare highlights the contrast between traditional military threats and the new reality brought about by drone warfare. Artillery, airstrikes, and other long-range attacks are often impersonal and require a level of detachment. Soldiers in the field may hear the explosions, but they can still hide or flee. However, FPV drones change the equation. They don't give soldiers that same chance. The drones chase them down, targeting them with precision and removing any possibility of escape. In the chaos of the battlefield, where speed and mobility were once an advantage, Ukraine's FPV drones have turned these strengths into vulnerabilities. The Russian soldiers, now fully aware of the inescapable threat above them, are forced to confront a new reality. In the age of drones, there is nowhere to hide. The battlefield is no longer just a space of conflict. It's a hunting ground, and the drones are the hunters. By the time the Russian forces attempt to regroup and fight back, their position has already been compromised. The FPV drones, with their unmatched precision and relentless pursuit, have stripped them of their ability to retaliate. The result is a battlefield in which the traditional advantages of speed and defense are rendered meaningless, leaving only the cold, calculating precision of technology as the deciding factor. The Russian units that once thrived on speed and surprise now find themselves helpless, unable to escape the relentless pursuit of Ukraine's FPV drones. Ukraine's use of FPV drones has fundamentally changed the rules of modern warfare. What once seemed like Russia's advantage speed has become its greatest vulnerability. The motorcycle units, once thought to be cutting edge for their agility and quick strikes, have now been rendered nearly useless. With drones relentlessly tracking and targeting them, the Russian forces are left scrambling with no way to escape. The battlefield has shifted dramatically, exposing the fragility of traditional tactics in a new age of technology. As FPV drones continue to evolve, their impact is undeniable. Speed, once an advantage, now fails against these precise, fast, and ever-present machines. The psychological toll on Russian troops is immense, and their strategic options are shrinking. This battle has set the stage for how future conflicts may unfold, with drones leading the way. Stay informed on the latest in military technology and strategy. Subscribe to Military Force for more updates.